Hello, bio students. This is a quick video on how to do some family tree analysis in terms of the actual document. I am doing a section of the family tree looking at the phenotype of eye colors, and I feel pretty certain that these are the genotypes of each of my individuals. Remember, you have created tables up above where you have described the different types of traits, the dominant and recessive alleles, and the phenotypes for homozygous, heterozygous, and recessive individuals for single gene traits. And then you've already gone through, hopefully, if you have them, polygenic traits for genotypes and phenotypes. I have two genes for the trait of eye colors. I have OCA2, which is big B coding for black and little b coding for blue. They have an incomplete dominant trait. And then finally, big G and little g for HERK2, which codes for dark green and light color. I have a mother and a father who have dark and brown eyes. I have a son with green eyes, and I have a daughter with light brown eyes. And the question is, for polygenic traits where you can have more than one genotype coding for a phenotype, how can you make sure you're sort of doing the right things? And part of it is sort of just trial and error. So let me walk you through how I did this. So I have a mom with very dark brown eyes. So I'm just gonna do brown eyes, and I have a father with light brown eyes, which means that there's going to be two dominant and two recessive. And alternatively, dark brown eyes tend to be three dominant and one recessive. And they have two children, and one of the children, I believe the son, has green eyes, and green eyes tends to be a 1 and 3, so 1 dominant and 3 recessive. And I have a daughter that is also light brown, so she shares the phenotype of her dad, so she's 2 and 2. Okay, so the one that's probably going to be the hardest for me to figure out is the green eyes, and I made a determination that big B, little g would be the genotype that I would predict the son to have for green eyes. Yes, you could do big b, big G also, but I just made the determination that big B, little g would be the correct one, and that's just me determining that that would be the more correct one. So what does that mean for my parents? That means for the parents, they both need to have a recessive G. And that's the only way through meiosis and sperm and egg haploid sort of creating sperm and egg that have one copy of each gene that we can get two little g's in this. That automatically means that I can't have any more dominant alleles for this individual. So I'm just recording a video right now. So that means that I need to put this little b allele in the phenotype or the genotype of the mom, because she is light brown eyes. Light brown-eyed individuals are always 2 and 2, so that means that this individual is going to be big B, big G, little g. You're probably thinking, but couldn't you be big B, little g, or little b, big G for the genotypes? Yes, but because we have this individual with green eyes with 2 little g's and a little b, and the dad has 3 dominant and 1 recessive, this has to be the phenotype that we have. So going over here, that means that dad is going to be big B, big G, and little g. There are other genotypes that give you dark brown hairs, but this is the only one that can work given that I have a son that's big B, little g, and a mother that is big B, big G, little g. So then the rest is pretty easy. I am 2 and 2, so that means that automatically I can come up with some combination for what my alleles could be. One possibility could be big B, and then I could also be little g, little g. That would give me brown eyes, and that's possible. I could also be big B, big G, little g. Either of those are theoretically possible. We don't have genetic testing for you to test your family tree, so this would be a place where you could describe in your explanation the limitations of our model. I may have gone in a little bit mixed up between the son and daughter on this image, but the same thing will be true regardless of sex, given this is autosomal. I hope this helps with your family tree analysis. Please see me if you have more questions.